Hi guys, so this is quadratic equations with complex roots. So one thing you need to understand before you do this is the minus b formula. So this is something that you should have seen before. So if uh, you're not sure about how it works, then maybe just have a look back at it first. So this formula is in your log tables anyway, and it's used to solve quadratic equations. So um, we've got a quadratic equation here. Now we're going to get our answers, one of our answers as as complex roots. So there's going to be a little bit of a difference at the end where we can write them like this in this form. But we'll wait till we get there first anyway. So I'm going to put in, so a anyway in this one is 1 because we're looking in front of the z squared, so there's nothing there, so automatically it's a 1. B is 6 because in front of the z there's a positive 6, and then there's a positive 10 where the c should be, so c is 10. So I'm just going to put the numbers into the formula. So we're going to get minus 6 plus or minus square root of 6 squared minus 4 multiplied by 1 multiplied by 10. So 2 multiplied by 1 will be on the bottom. And then we're going to get minus 6 plus or minus square root of, and we'll just do this all in the one go then. So 6 squared would be 36, minus 4 times 1 times 10 would be minus 40. So think about it then, 36 minus 40 will actually give us a minus number in here. So you'll notice that when you've got complex roots as when the roots are complex, basically you'll get a minus inside. Sorry, it shouldn't be minus 40, it should be minus 4, because 36 minus 40 is minus 4. So you're going to get a minus inside. So before, when you would have studied the quadratic formula first, it wouldn't have made sense to get a minus in here, because you can't have a minus, you can't find the square root of a negative number. But since you started doing complex numbers, you can see that you can actually, by using I, by letting the square root of minus 1 be I. So let's play around with this then. So the square root of minus 4, we could change that to, so you should have seen this before at the start of complex numbers, you can change that to 4 multiplied by minus 1 over 2. And then that's the same thing as, so minus 6 plus or minus, the square root of 4 multiplied by square root of minus 1 is the same thing as square root of 4 multiplied by square root of minus 1 over 2. And then a rule that you would have done at the start of complex numbers was that the square root of minus 1, you can call that I. So in this case, I can let the square root of minus 1 be I, and the square root of 4, positive 4, is just going to be 2. So I can call that 2i. So I get minus 6 plus or minus 2i all over 2. And then I can actually divide in this 2 then into both parts. So it doesn't matter that there's going to be plus and minus. So minus 6 divided by 2 would be, well, I'll just write it out explicitly. So I can do minus 6 divided by 2 plus or minus 2i divided by 2. So minus 6 divided by 2 is minus 3. Plus or minus 2 divided by 2 is 1, so I. So you could put in a 1 there if you wanted. So minus 3 plus or minus I. So they are two complex roots then. So minus 3 plus I and minus 3 minus I. So I found out the two complex roots of that quadratic equation. So whenever you get a minus inside, like that, inside the square root, then you can give your answer as complex, you give your roots as complex, where you've got an I in them, so you can break it down. Here's another question, and if you want to try this one yourself, just pause the video there and have a go at it. So write out the minus b formula, put all the numbers into it, and then try and write the square root part as something I when you get to it. So formula anyway is minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac on over 2a. So that's going to be minus 4 plus or minus square root of 4 squared minus 4 times 1, because a is 1, times 5. So I didn't actually write out what a, b and c were this time, I'm just putting them in. So 2 multiplied by 1 is on the bottom. So a, it would be 1, b is 4, and c is 5. Then I can break it down. So minus 4 plus or minus, right, so 4 squared it would be 16. Take away 4 multiplied by 1 multiplied by 5. So take away 20 really. So I'm actually going to get minus 4 in here. So I'm actually getting the same thing as the other example. So again anyway, minus 4 plus or minus square root of 4 multiplied by minus square root of minus 1 all over 2. So that's minus 4 plus or minus, and then I can do, so the square root of 4 is just 2, and the square root of minus 1 I can call it I over 2, and then I can divide 2 into both of those. So I'm going to get minus 2 plus or minus I. So minus 2 plus or minus I. And then that's my answer. So unfortunately I got a minus 4 in here again, so obviously you won't always get that, but so that's I've lost it here anyway, but so that's how to find complex roots of quadratic equations.